Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our next session, which is going to be all about accommodation at ANU. This is really one of the differentiating factors between the ANU and other universities. It's got a really close college atmosphere that is unlike anywhere else. And so we have Felicity to talk about accommodation at ANU. So let's welcome her.
Okay, thank you very much, and hello everyone. And the slides aren't showing. Just want to check so I can see the slides. Yep, great, thank you. So hello everyone, I'm Felicity Goldthorpe. I'm the Deputy Director of the Residential Services and Operations in our Residential Experience Division. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the lands that we're meeting today, the lands of the Ngunnawal Ngambri people, and note that these are among the longest living cultures in human history. And I pay my respects to elders past and present, and also pay my respects to any Aboriginal Torres Strait Islanders, people that we have in the audience today. So, just make sure this is working. Okay, so on to our actual residences, which is why you are here at this talk today. So we've got a really large variety of accommodation options for students that want to live on campus, and these cater to all of your different needs and personal circumstances. All of our residences have their own unique culture, but all of our residences are really committed to providing an inclusive and respectful environment for all of our students. All of our ANU on-campus accommodation provides academic and wellbeing support from our caring staff community. So living in an ANU residence, it's more than just a place to live and eat and sleep. It's really a life-changing opportunity to meet and mix with people from a really diverse range of cultures and backgrounds and experiences. And also, one of the best things is that people will then make lifelong friends. So the residential environment at ANU is a vibrant, living, learning community. Our residents offer a safe and supportive environment for all of our students. Our residential communities are both undergraduate and postgraduate. We've also got people from around Australia, rural, regional, city students. We've got international students. All of these students call ANU their home, and that really brings a vibrancy and cultural diversity to our residences and to all of our ANU community. So we aim to provide you with a wonderful, life-changing residential experience, and remembering that what you put into your residential experience is then what you're going to get out of it. And students are really encouraged to learn from each other as well, and really role model positive attitudes that are going to make everyone feel welcome. So on to the actual, did that work? Yes, on to the actual details. These are some of the different things that we have available. So each of our residences, as I mentioned, caters to a really wide variety of needs and requirements. The residents that are pictured here are mostly our undergraduate accommodation. Most of these are multi-share. They've got shared bathrooms, shared living environments, but of course you have your own room, but they really are a multi-share environment. Some of these are self-catered, and they have sort of a master chef style kitchens and lots of people in there cooking at the same time. Some of the residences are fully catered, and students can kind of choose between having 16 to 21 meals that are catered per week. Ursula Hall, which is pictured here, also has a thing called Loris Wing, and that wing actually does have self-contained apartments. They've got their own bathroom and kitchen, and that's going to suit perhaps someone that wants a bit more of an independent environment, or sometimes our later year students prefer that accommodation. Bruce Hall, which is also here, has Packard Wing, again, that sort of own bathroom and kitchen, and suits some of our more independent or later year students. But with both of those options, with Loris and with Packard Wing, You can actually then go to Bruce Hall and Ursula Hall if you want sort of a few meal vouchers a week so that you can have a few catered meals as well. Then we also have our ANU lodges. So these are a different style of accommodation again. These are more self-contained apartment style accommodation, and they range from having sort of one bedroom studio apartment style to having apartments where students have their own room, but you've got kind of a shared living spaces and areas and shared bathrooms, sort of like living in a share house type environment, but in an apartment. So that's those ones. But what they also include, as well as having that sort of independent, self-contained environment, they've got additional facilities such as common areas and study spaces, laundry facilities, computer labs, and still the access to the academic and wellbeing support that's such an important part of all of our residences on campus. We also have 2 independent colleges, and so these residences are independent but affiliated with ANU, and these particular residences as well are suited to sort of more undergraduate students. They're fully catered. Again, they're that multi-share type accommodation. We also have, I don't know if we've got any postgraduate prospective students in the audience today, but these residences are specifically catered for our postgraduate population. These provide a bit of a quieter environment. They're highly academically focused for that particular cohort. And Graduate House has self-contained studio apartments, whereas Toad Hall is more that shared environment with shared bathrooms and kitchens. And also, as well as postgraduate students, Toad Hall also caters to later year undergraduate students such as honours students. It really suits them as well. So that's the actual residences that we have available. And then onto campus life. So you'll hopefully have seen from being around today, we've got such a big and beautiful campus. We've got lots of natures, and hopefully you might have seen perhaps some possums or rabbits, ducks. We've got parrots of every single variety and colour across the campus. It really is a beautiful place to live and to study. And students also have access, you hopefully have had a chance to look at the on-campus shops. We've got cafes, bookstore, banking, health and medical centres, an academic skills centre. We've got a dedicated student safety and wellbeing team, and lots of libraries and study areas on the campus. We've got bike use, really being heavily encouraged. Probably saw there's lots of car parking and that kind of thing, but we really do encourage bike use on the campus. There's extensive secure bike parking on campus, especially if you're living in a residence. It's really easy to get around. And we also do have a university flexi-car system where if you do need a car every now and then, you can actually utilise that system. So you don't even need to bring a car to campus, and that's in fact encouraged, obviously, for both lack of parking availability, but also, of course, for the environment. We've got ANU being close to the city as well. It's really easy to get to the city. We've got the bus interchange and the light rail just down the road, meaning that if you are living on campus, you can get out and about around Canberra really easily. And we are an accessible campus, and we're also a non-smoking campus. And all of our students do have access, and especially our students in the residences have access to UniSafe, which is our on-campus security service, because ANU does have a zero tolerance approach to bullying, harassment and violence. So what's it like to be a student at the residences? So we're really here to provide that holistic support for all of our residents. So from sporting to social, arts, community-based events, to academic programs that are aiming to help and support our students so that you can really succeed in your studies. And we have extensive training being provided to our staff and our student leaders So they're able to provide all of the students in that accommodation with really great wellbeing and academic support for what they need. And from that academic perspective, we've got academic enrichment programs that are actually run in the residences. They're really the building blocks of having really successful study at ANU. It's a really supportive academic environment. And a lot of these academic programs are collaboratively co-designed by academic staff and students, and they're really driven by these students within the residences as well as across the whole campus community. But on to some of the practical things which I'm sure you're wanting to know about. So for those of you who want to participate in Life to the Full in the residences, there are also resident committees which are included in all of the residences. We really encourage students to join those. You can participate really fully in student life through those committees. There's also lots of clubs and societies on campus, including our Undergraduate Student Union, which is a NUSA. So there's a really amazing way to get involved. And regardless of your background and your interests or hobbies, you might have academic or creative, cultural, sporting capability. All of those residences really are welcoming, supportive and diverse places for you to live. So depending on your admission pathway to the university, there's a range of ways that you apply for accommodation to the university. And some of you hopefully may have already applied through the direct process that you would have been through already. But I do encourage you to discuss any of your individual circumstances with our staff in the accommodation booth, which is just outside in the Manning Clark Lecture Theatre, just across the foyer there. That way that you can really get the advice that's most suited to you, because each and every one of you might have different needs and personal circumstances. So I really do encourage you to utilise today to talk to those staff. And our accommodation is very popular, so please do apply soon if you haven't already. And when you receive your offer of accommodation, you will be provided lots of information and you'll be given all the information that you do need to be able to move in. But just a few things that you might be interested in are things like you will need to bring your own pillows and bed linen and blankets and that kind of thing. The majority of the beds in the residential rooms are king singles. But I really recommend that you do double check before you come onto campus. Once you've got your accommodation confirmed and you know what room and residence you're going to be in, just double check so that you can make sure that you've got all the linen that's going to best suit the size of the bed that you've got in your room. If you are in a self-catered facility, you do also need to bring your own pots and pans and your own cooking equipment, although you can obviously share with friends if that's something you want to do. We do have a lot of fridges provided in those kitchens, so you each get your own shelf and that kind of thing, so that is there. Good thing to note is that in the self-catered and catered facilities, you can't have toasters and microwaves in your room. Because you're going to set off the fire alarms, which is something that you might not be very popular if you keep setting off the fire alarms. So that's just something to really note with those particular facilities. Also, another important thing to know is that when you eventually hopefully do get accepted into university accommodation, note that once you've signed what's called an occupancy agreement, we do only work with the holder of that particular occupancy agreement for privacy reasons and that kind of thing. So that's just something for some of the parents out there, note that we will have the occupancy agreement usually with the student, and that's the person that we're going to be working directly with on that. And then upon signing your agreement, a deposit's required, just like normal accommodation usually if you're renting a house or something like that, and rent is paid 2 weeks in advance, and it's done by direct debit only. So I really encourage you, if you haven't seen it already, go and see our display room, which is in the foyer just outside. Also, please do go on to the accommodation tours if you haven't already. There's a little bus stop that's just behind Fenner Hall, or there's people that can direct you to that. The really best way to find out what might suit you and your individual needs is to actually go out, see what we've got to offer. And I really encourage you to go to several different accommodation, even if you have something in mind, oh, I really want to go to this one. I really encourage you to go and have a look at all of the different facilities that are on offer, because there might be something you're not aware of. There's also plenty of students to talk to during those tours, which means that they can share sort of what living in their residence is like, and give you a real feel for what being there might be like for you. So also encourage you to visit our website once you go home from after today, and look at our prospectus as well, which has lots more details. Also, if you're interested in our new student accommodation, there's a display room for that as well, and that's also available on the tour. I also encourage you, at 2 o'clock this afternoon, there's a very exciting event happening on University Avenue, which is our mascot race. So all of the different residences have a mascot, and there's going to be a really fun, quite hilarious race that's happening at 2 p.m. So if you get a chance, I really encourage you to come along and join us as a part of that. So I really would love you to all consider becoming part of our on-campus community in 2023. We really would love to have you come and join us. I'm going to be just down here for the next little bit as well. If you've got some questions that you want to ask me, feel free to come up and ask me after the session. Or I really, again, do encourage you, go to the booth in Manning Clark. We've got some wonderful staff there that will be able to answer all of your detailed questions that you might have. I'm going to also, I'll leave the next slide up, which is just the contact details for us if you do need any further information. And I really look forward to having you join our community next year. So thank you very much.
Thanks everybody for coming along. Just for your information, the next session in here is titled Why Study Science at ANU? And so it's a summary of the Science College and what's special about it. So thank you for coming along.
We come from all across Australia and from all corners of the earth. We come because we are called to face the complex challenges of a changing world. We come seeking space to discover and to imagine a nation's future. We come to a global capital, to a hub of progress, to the heart of change. We come to meet each other and to meet tomorrow for tomorrow's sake. We come because we are called to define our futures at the meeting place.
Are you thinking about moving away from home to come to ANU? I did, and today I want to show you around so you can see why I love it so much. This is Canberra, the central hub of the uni, and it's a great place to grab a coffee on the way to a lecture. Now I want to show you the Ambush Gallery. They often put on exhibitions of student art here, and the exhibition opening nights are always a lot of fun. Now I'm going to show you along the residential halls of Daly Road. Because I moved to Canberra from Queensland, I found it such a relief that ANU has an accommodation guarantee for all incoming first year students. Also, as you can see, there are so many great accommodation options to choose from. Hope you've enjoyed the tour today. Make sure you get online and apply now.
Do you want me to show you what a typical day at ANU looks like? Let's go. The best thing about ANU is the campus is everything you need. We've got a club line, which is an amazing gym. We've got the libraries and Student Central, which are great places if you need support. And most of all, we've got chart time. The class size is a really small here, which makes it so much easier to get one-to-one support. Well, there's a lights festival on tonight called Enlighten, so I reckon I'm going to head there. So I'll see you in a couple hours and I'll show you around. Hope you enjoyed the day. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next year.
Hey, I'm Sammy and I'm a student at ANU, and I want to tell you why I moved to Melbourne to start uni and then moved back to go to ANU. Basically, I'm from Canberra, I grew up here, and I decided to move to Melbourne when I was 19 to start uni because I just wanted to change and to experience big city life.
But actually what I found was big city life was really overwhelming and really not a great environment for studying. And ultimately I decided to move back. When I decided to move back, the application process was actually super easy. I just applied like you usually would and used my marks from my last year in Melbourne.
There's so much to do here, like everything that you want to do in a big city you can do in Canberra, but everything here is just so much more accessible. I kind of wish that someone had just told me that earlier because Canberra's incredible and I kind of don't know why I left in the first place.
Do the winters get easier? No. Alright, let's do it. I'm Jack, I study PPE, I'm from Rockhampton, Queensland. What surprised you the most when you moved to Canberra? I would say like maybe how convenient everything is. Got kind of like a big city vibe, but in like a small city kind of layout. So it's easy to kind of get around everywhere. What was the hardest part about leaving home? It wasn't anything like homesickness or anything like that for me. I don't know, I mean, I really liked it. Do the winters get easier? Well, I'll tell you what, they were a lot easier when I was in college and we had heating in the rooms. They probably get easier because you're more prepared for them. That's probably the positive outtake here.
We come from all across Australia and from all corners of the earth. We come because we are called to face the complex challenges of a changing world. We come seeking space to discover and to imagine a nation's future. We come to a global capital, to a hub of progress, to the heart of change. We come to meet each other and to meet tomorrow for tomorrow's sake. We come because we are called to define our futures at the meeting place.